The boy at table 7. The bustling cafe was alive with chatter and laughter as participants flitted from table to table. Clara adjusted her red dress and took a deep breath. This was her first time at a speed dating event, and while she wasn't sure if it would lead to true love, she was determined to give it a shot. The bell rang, signaling the start of her first date. A man in his late 20s sat across from her, nervously adjusting his tie. They exchanged pleasantries, but the conversation felt stiff. The next man was overly confident, talking about his cryptocurrency portfolio. By the third table, Clara began to wonder if she was wasting her evening. When the bell rang again, she moved to table 7. To her surprise, a boy, no older than 8, sat there, swinging his legs beneath the chair. He had a mischievous grin and a juice box in hand. Clara blinked in confusion. "Ah, hi," she said, glancing around to see if this was some kind of prank. "Hi, I'm Max," the boy said brightly. "What's your favorite dinosaur?" Clara couldn't help but laugh. "Triceratops, I think. What about you?" "Good choice. I like T-Rexes, but they'd be cooler if they had feathers, like real ones did." Before Clara could respond, a man approached the table, looking flustered. He was tall, with kind brown eyes and a sheepish smile. "I am so sorry about this," he said, placing a hand on Max's shoulder. "I'm Liam, his dad." Max was supposed to be sitting at the counter with his coloring book, but I guess he decided to join the event instead. Max grinned up at his dad. "You said you were looking for someone fun, so I'm helping." Clara burst out laughing. "Well, he's definitely the most interesting person I've talked to all evening." Liam chuckled, visibly relieved that Clara wasn't upset. "I owe you an explanation. My babysitter cancelled last minute, and I didn't want to miss this. I didn't think he'd actually participate." "It's fine," Clara said, smiling at Max. "Honestly, he's a great icebreaker." The three of them ended up chatting until the bell rang again. Max proudly shared his extensive dinosaur knowledge, while Liam talked about his work as a paleontologist, a career inspired by his son's passion. When the event ended, Liam hesitated. "I know this wasn't exactly a traditional first meeting, but would you like to grab coffee sometime, without the juice boxes?" Clara grinned. "Only if Max comes along to share more dinosaur facts." Max pumped his fist in the air. "Yes, I knew you'd like my dad." As they exchanged numbers, Clara realized that sometimes, love, or at least the possibility of it, came in the most unexpected ways. A lady on a speed date ends up with a boy. It was supposed to be simple. Claire sat at her assigned table, smoothing out the skirt of her emerald green dress. The buzzing ambience of the trendy downtown cafe was filled with eager voices, laughter, and the occasional clink of coffee cups. She had signed up for this speed dating event reluctantly, cajoled by her best friend who insisted she needed to get back out there. Claire didn't feel ready, but here she was, 5 minutes away from meeting a parade of strangers. The whistle blew, signaling the start. Claire straightened her posture and put on her best polite smile. Her first date was Jason, a personal trainer who talked only about his gym routine. She managed to feign interest, but the 5-minute timer felt like an eternity. Next came Luke, a financial advisor, who was nice but clearly more impressed with his investment portfolio than anything else. The dates blurred into a succession of awkward small talk, forced laughs, and occasional glances at her watch. Then came table 7. As Claire waited for her next date, she glanced at the chair in front of her. Instead of a sharply dressed man in his late 20s or 30s, she was surprised to see a boy, no older than 8, climbing onto the seat with a determined expression. "What the?" Claire started, looking around. "Hi, I'm Ben," the boy said confidently, extending his hand like a miniature businessman. Claire shook it automatically, still bewildered. "Hi, Ben, where's your parent?" Ben rolled his eyes dramatically. "My mom is at table 2. She dragged me here because she said it's grown-up time, but I'm not stupid. I know she's looking for a boyfriend." Claire couldn't help but laugh. "And what are you doing here, then?" Ben leaned forward conspiratorially. "I'm vetting the competition. If she's gonna date someone, I need to make sure they're cool. Most of these guys are boring or weird. What about you? You seem okay." Claire blinked, then burst into genuine laughter. "I'm flattered, I think." For the first time all evening, she felt relaxed. Ben asked her real questions, like what her favorite superhero was, whether she preferred pizza or tacos, and if she could beat him at Mario Kart. By the time the whistle blew, Claire was actually sorry to see him leave. But Ben wasn't done. He stood up, giving her a scrutinizing look. "You're funny, and you laughed at my jokes, which is a good sign. I think you'd pass my test." Claire grinned. "Good to know, but isn't it your mom who's supposed to be meeting people?" Ben shrugged. "Yeah, but she's kinda nervous. I'll let her know you're cool. Table 2, remember?" He flashed a cheeky smile and ran off. Later that evening, as the event wound down, Claire found herself crossing paths with a woman near the coffee bar. She looked familiar, slim, with auburn hair and kind eyes. The woman hesitated, then smiled. "Hi, I think you met my son, Ben. He's quite the character." Claire chuckled. "He's great, definitely the highlight of my evening." The woman, whose name was Emma, seemed genuinely relieved. They ended up chatting for half an hour, far past the official event time. Claire learned that Emma was a single mom, new to the city, and as skeptical about dating as Claire had been. As they said their goodbyes, Emma hesitated. "It's funny, Ben said I should talk to the lady in the green dress. Guess he knows what he's doing." Claire smiled. "Smart kid, you should listen to him." And just like that, what started as an awkward speed dating night turned into the beginning of an unexpected friendship, and maybe something more. A lady on a speed date ends up with a boy, Part 2. Over the next week, Claire couldn't stop thinking about Emma and Ben. She kept replaying their conversation in her mind, Emma's warm laugh, Ben's cheeky grin, and the easy connection they'd shared. It was rare to meet someone who felt so genuine. Still, Claire wasn't sure what to do. Would it be weird to reach out? Emma had casually mentioned the cafe where she and Ben went on weekends, but was that an invitation or just small talk? Claire's best friend, Mia, rolled her eyes when Claire brought it up. "Are you kidding? You're overthinking it. Just go. Worst case, you get some coffee. Best case, you meet a cool person again. Win-win." Claire sighed. "What if she doesn't even remember me?" "Oh, she'll remember," Mia said, smirking. The following Saturday, Claire found herself back at the cafe. She tried to play it cool, ordering a latte and finding a seat near the window. She didn't want to look like she was waiting for someone, but, of course, she was. Her heart skipped when she heard a familiar voice. "Hey, it's you." Claire turned to see Ben, his face lighting up with recognition. He was holding a chocolate chip cookie the size of a plate. Emma followed close behind, a mix of surprise and delight on her face. "Claire, hi," Emma said, smiling warmly. "This is a nice surprise." Claire stood, feeling a little awkward but happy. "Yeah, I love their lattes here, and the cookies, apparently," she added, nodding at Ben. "They're the best," Ben said confidently. Then, without hesitation, he pulled out the chair next to Claire and plopped down. "So, are you here to hang out with us?" Emma gave him a look. "Ben? What? She's cool," he said, shrugging. Claire laughed. "Well, if you don't mind the company, I'd love to." The three of them ended up talking for hours. Ben showed off his drawing skills on napkins, creating elaborate doodles of dinosaurs and spaceships. Emma shared stories about her job as a graphic designer and how she'd recently moved to the city for a fresh start. Claire found herself opening up in ways she hadn't in years, talking about her love for art and her dream of one day owning her own gallery. When the cafe staff started stacking chairs, Ben groaned. "Already? But I didn't finish my T-Rex." "You can finish it at home," Emma said, gathering her things. She turned to Claire. "This was really nice. I'm glad we ran into you." "Me too," Claire said, feeling a warmth she hadn't expected. Ben tugged at Emma's sleeve. "Mom, can't she come to the park with us tomorrow? You said we were going to fly my new kite." Emma looked a little flustered. "Ben, I'm sure Claire has plans." Claire hesitated, but only for a moment. "Actually, I'd love to join you, if that's okay." Emma smiled, her cheeks flushing slightly. "Yeah, that'd be great." The next day, Claire found herself at the park, running across the grass with Ben as they tried to get the kite to soar. Emma watched from a picnic blanket, her face relaxed in a way that made Claire's heart flutter. By the time the sun set, the three of them felt like a little team, laughing, teasing, and sharing stories. Claire realized something. She hadn't just met Emma and Ben by chance, she was meant to meet them. And while it was too early to say where this would lead, Claire felt like she'd found something she didn't even know she was looking for, a connection that felt real, easy, and full of promise. As the weeks went by, Claire, Emma, and Ben started spending more time together. It wasn't planned, but their lives seemed to weave together naturally. Whether it was a casual coffee meet-up, an impromptu trip to the park, or an afternoon spent painting at Claire's apartment, Ben insisted his dinosaur sketches needed Claire's professional artist touch. They found reasons to see one another. For Claire, it was more than just companionship. She found herself looking forward to Emma's text messages, the easy laughter they shared, and even Ben's endless energy and quick wit. But beneath the growing warmth in her chest, there was a quiet worry. What if she was reading too much into this? One Friday evening, Claire invited them over for dinner. She had spent the day perfecting her pasta recipe and even picked up a special set of markers for Ben. By the time they arrived, her small apartment was filled with the comforting scent of tomato sauce and freshly baked garlic bread. "This smells amazing," Emma said, setting down a bottle of wine. Ben, already at the table, called out, "Can we eat yet? I'm starving." Claire laughed. "Almost ready. But first, I have something for you." Ben's eyes lit up as she handed him the markers. "Whoa. These are awesome." "Thanks, Claire." He immediately began doodling on a sheet of paper, leaving Claire and Emma to set the table. As they worked, Emma glanced at Claire with a soft smile. "You've been so good to him. To both of us. I hope you know how much we appreciate it." Claire felt her heart race but managed to keep her tone light. "You two make it pretty easy." After dinner, the three of them sat in the living room, flipping through Ben's drawings. One in particular caught Claire's attention. "What's this one?" she asked, holding up a sketch of 3 figures, one taller and 2 shorter, all holding hands under a bright sun. Ben grinned. "That's us. You, me, and Mom. We're like a team now, right?" Emma's cheeks turned pink. "Ben." "What?" he said innocently. "It's true. Claire's the coolest adult I've ever met, besides you." Claire couldn't help but laugh, though her heart was doing flips. She looked over at Emma, whose expression was a mix of embarrassment and something else, something warm and hopeful. Later that night, after Ben had fallen asleep on the couch, Claire and Emma sat together in the dim light of the living room. "He's not wrong, you know," Emma said softly, her voice almost a whisper. Claire turned to her, her breath catching. "About what?" Emma hesitated, then smiled. "About us being a team. You've become such an important part of our lives. I didn't expect this when I dragged him to that speed dating event." Claire laughed, her nervousness melting away. "I didn't expect it either. But I'm glad it happened." For a moment, they just looked at each other, the weight of unspoken feelings hanging in the air. Then Emma reached out, her hand brushing against Claire's. "Me too," Emma said, her voice steady. And in that quiet, unassuming moment, Claire realized she had found something she never thought she'd find, a family.